Good, fam. I'm back at it. I'm back at it. In the house. I'm decked out in my orange and white, or my orange, black, and white today. You know, I'm a proud Tennessee Vol. I came out that School of Agriculture, and I'm happy to have done so. I must admit, it has opened up a lot of opportunities for me. So, I try to spread the word about what agriculture has done for me and my family, and try to share the news with other folk. But sometimes folk don't think that agriculture can give you a good career, but there's neither here nor there. What I want to talk about is how brilliant people are. You know, people want to be so brilliant to the fact that they don't realize that they are opposing the Lord. I mean, we got so many folk who got so many degrees. I got degrees. I ain't gonna lie, I got degrees too. But my professor, my undergrad professor in forest genetics, he said, Keith, he said, if you get your doctorate degree and all that, he said, please don't lose your common sense. He said, because a lot of these folk, the more degrees they get, the more common sense they lose. And I made it a task. I made it a task to pray and ask the Lord to keep me grounded, regardless of how much opportunity I get, how much experience I get, how much education I get. I always ask the Lord to keep me with my common sense, to keep me humble. But as I look to today, there are so many folk who are so brilliant to the fact they think they smarter than God. They got all this education, they think logic can do this and do this and that, when the scripture clearly illustrates us to us about everything. Remember, it says ain't nothing new under the sun. It may be packaged different, but it still comes down to the same old type of stuff. People either hate somebody, they want to idolize something, they want to be immoral. That's what it comes down to. I mean, so when you got things that, they dress it up. They dress it up real nice. They package it up, wrap it in a real shiny paper, put a big pretty bow on it, and they pander to the people and say, this is what you need to get on. But when you start getting down to the nuts and bolts of it, especially if you Christian, especially if you follow Jesus now, you have to look at it like, no, this ain't what Jesus taught. Jesus told me to love all people. Jesus told me to forgive anytime somebody asked me to forgive. Jesus told me to give a man grace and mercy. Jesus told me to preach the gospel in order for that man to be transformed, to deal with the spiritual warfare that we deal with as people. How did he know that it goes home? Because go to Hebrews 1. It tells us that he experienced all types of temptations that we experience. But the thing was, he didn't act on them. So the book has clearly illustrated to the people of God how we're supposed to conduct ourselves. But we let these folks from Germany, by way of Harvard Law School, or Harvard School, whatever it is, Harvard, come tell us how we need to do as Christians. And I'm surprised now. I'm surprised. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, because my granddaddy told me I shouldn't be surprised at what some folk do. Because some folk, let me tell you, some folk either want one or two things and not both. They either want attention or they want money. That's just what it is. They'll pander to anything to get attention because they want to seem self-righteous, and also to money. I ain't gonna tell you what else he said. I can't repeat what he said about black folk and money. So I can't even say that right now. But you got folks that want to be self-righteous, and self-righteous, all that means is that you exalting yourself above God, ought to be in a God-like status. Because like I said in my earlier video, nobody wants to submit. But they'll submit to what somebody else say, who the same flesh and blood creature as they are. But when it comes down to God, they want to sidestep it. These Christian folk now, they want to sidestep it and put that but and whatever. No, man, that's not how this goes. See, y'all jumping into something that the Lord ain't condoning. And let me tell you a story real quick. Let me tell you a story for to my fellow Christians. The ones who don't go to church but say they Christian. The ones who don't open their Bible and read and say that they Christian. Let me go to Acts 5, starting at 33. When the apostles were out preaching and they was getting ready, get dealt with. But Gamaliel, y'all know who Gamaliel is. Gamaliel, he was one of the notable teachers of the law. And they had issues with them preaching the gospel of Jesus. But Gamaliel said, guess what? If God is truly with these men, you might find yourself fighting against God. And that's what some of y'all folk doing right now. Y'all jumping on this secular philosophy. And y'all just don't know that you fighting against God. And I'm going to tell you now, you keep on doing it. Well, I'm going to say this. Ain't no use, because the Lord's will be done. So keep running in your circle. So keep running with these so-called brilliant folk, filling your head up, putting a battery in your back to go against the teachers of the Lord. But you call yourself Christian. Keep on doing it. And I guarantee you, the Lord gonna make you smell his cologne. I had to throw some little street stuff in there. What that mean is the Lord gonna make a believer out of you. Peace.